What's up? It's AK Babyface. Subscribe to Supporting Icons for the latest boxing news.
Right, so I've been having a little bit of a chuckle at the amount of reaching that a lot of the Wildettes will go to. They will just stretch it out and cling on to every tiny little hair strand that they potentially can, right? Because the Wildettes, you see, they took offense, a lot of them, here on YouTube and of course across the social media platforms, because they kind of got a little bit upset because I said that 300 plus pay-per-view buys for Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury is a moderate success. As in, it's not a success, it's a moderate success. So I didn't trash it, even though I could have. I could trash those numbers quite comfortably. Very, very easily. And, oh yeah, by the way, thanks very much, Ethan, for letting me know. Obviously, I can't see these on social media myself because Deontay Wilder has put a little block on me for some reason. Oh dear. Wilder, please stop crying. Okay, please stop crying. So anyway, a lot of the Wildettes, they say that these figures, 300 plus thousand, estimated of course, for Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury, proves that Deontay Wilder is in fact a pay-per-view star and Joshua should offer 50-50 for a fight between them two because he showed he's a drawing power. Now, what they're talking about is 300,000 plus, potentially even, because we still don't know the exact figures, but they're estimating 320,000. I think that they're estimating for Showtime, digital platforms such as PlayStation and cinema. Okay, of course, this doesn't include the BT, different country, right? So 300,000 is a moderate success. That's what I said. And they're unhappy about it. So, and the reason that they're saying 50-50 is because of the price difference between the US and the UK. Okay, so 300,000 pay-per-view buys would equivalent to 900,000 in the UK. Why? Because the price in the US at $75 is 3 times more expensive than it is here in the UK. Because here in the UK, you're talking 25, 26, maybe $27 if we were to convert £21. Okay, so 3 times the amount in America. Okay, so 300,000 must equate to 900,000 here in the UK. Okay, but bear in mind 300,000 for the supposed biggest fight in boxing between the undefeated WBC heavyweight champion of the world and the Lineal heavyweight champion of the world. Actually, while we're on the subject, for those who say Fury should dominate to beat Wilder, and not just beat Wilder by a round or two to get the WBC title, are probably the same ones who say that Wilder won. So for those who say that Fury needed to dominate and not just beat him on points, you know, he can't just edge it by a round or two. No. He's got to dominate to take a title away from a champion, right? So, yeah, you say Wilder won that fight. So if did Wilder dominate Fury to get his Lineal? As that's the so-called #1 title, right? Lineal means that you are #1. So is Fury still the best heavyweight in boxing? As the Wilder fans were using this on the build-up, right? They were saying that this is the best versus the best. This is Lineal. Tyson Fury is the #1 heavyweight in the world. Why did they say that? Because they felt that Tyson Fury was an easy cherry pick. Because he wasn't ready. That's why, because they wanted to bestow upon Deontay Wilder Lineal. He's the best. So now that Deontay Wilder does not have Lineal and Tyson Fury still has it, does that mean that you guys say that Tyson Fury is #1? Yes? So you have to, right? If that was your build-up, then you have to say Tyson Fury is still #1. Even though the rest of the world knows that Tyson Fury won that fight and he is effectively the WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Deontay Wilder is a paper champion. So for those of you, channels and people online who said that Lineal means Tyson Fury is #1, just because you thought that Deontay Wilder was going to school him, right, and knock him spark out, then does that mean that Tyson Fury is still Lineal? So therefore he's still #1 in the world. So Deontay Wilder, by your own admission, is not #1. That's what you used in the build-up, right? Should we move on, shall we? Yeah, I thought so. Anyway, so Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury at 300,000 pay-per-view buys means that Deontay Wilder is a pay-per-view star. Yet, as I said, it's 3 times the price of what it is in the UK. So these people say that Joshua only gets, what, 900,000 pay-per-views? So Joshua to get 900,000 pay-per-views is equivalent to Wilder getting 300,000, correct? Yes? But yet, Joshua versus Takam did just under 900,000. So Wilder versus Fury is the equivalent to Joshua versus Takam. So could Deontay Wilder fight Carlos Takam and hit 300,000 just to even it up? Could he? No, because see, he needed Fury in the other corner. Yeah? He needed Fury in the other corner. Because Wilder versus Takam, would that hit 300,000 pay-per-view buys to equal Anthony Joshua's nearly 900,000? Could he do that? To earn 50-50? Could he do that? Could he do that against Alexander Povetkin? Could he do that against Dominic Breazeale or Jarrell Miller? Could he? So, for you to say that Deontay Wilder should get 50-50 to Joshua, then you have to be confident that Deontay Wilder could get 300,000 pay-per-view buys to equal Joshua against Carlos Takam. But yet he needs Tyson Fury. It's weird, isn't it? I mean, Joshua versus Parker did 1.5 million pay-per-view buys. How many pay-per-view buys do you think Joshua versus Fury would do? Do you think it would do more than 900,000? Do you? But of course it would. Of course it would. You're probably talking 2 million plus. Okay? But yet, this clown could only do 300,000. Yet most of it was hyped up on Fury. Fury was the name. He was the one carrying the event, not Wilder. So as I said, Joshua vs. Takam did 900,000 pay-per-view buys, which is the equivalent to Wilder vs. Fury at 300,000 pay-per-view buys. It's the equivalent. That's what it is. But yet Joshua vs. Parker did 1.5 million pay-per-view buys. Joshua vs. Klitschko did even more. Joshua vs. Fury would do a hell of a lot more. Because Tyson Fury carries the same kind of weight in America as what Joshua does, doesn't he? So therefore, Joshua versus Wilder in America would only do 300,000 pay-per-view buys, wouldn't it? Even if he did 400,000 for Tyson Fury, for example, if that's what the final figures came in at, it's still nowhere near what Joshua does. So Wilder needed Fury to hit 300,000 pay-per-view buys. As I said, could Wilder do that against Carlos Takam just to balance it up? Of course he couldn't. So does he really deserve 50-50? You've got to be on some kind of other planet to think so. Now, bearing in mind, not only could he not hit 300,000 pay-per-view buys against Carlos Takam, but he only has one title. Okay, he's paper champion and Tyson Fury should have it, but still, he's still only got one title. Joshua has 3 titles. Now, imagine the pay-per-view buys of Joshua versus Fury, as I said. Do you really think that for Wilder to deserve 50-50, Joshua versus Fury would only do 900,000 pay-per-view buys here in the UK? Do you really believe that? So if you're telling me that you believe that Joshua versus Fury will only do 900,000 to equal it up as to what's going on in America, you've got to be smoking crack. You really are. And if you ever hear a channel saying that 300,000 pay-per-view buys means Wilder is a pay-per-view star or should get 50-50 with Joshua, then I hope for your own good that you stay well away from that channel. Now, those numbers are pretty good for American boxing, as boxing is not popular in America, right? So this is pretty much what they're going to be going on. Wilder versus Fury, Lineal versus WBC, 300,000 is brilliant, it's great. Wilder's a pay-per-view star. Yet, in your own country, Canelo versus Triple G, Part 2, the rematch did how many? 1.1 million pay-per-view buys. Are you sure 300,000 against Tyson Fury, the lineal champion, is that good and deserves 50-50 with Joshua? Either you're deluded, you don't know what you're talking about, you're lying, or you're an extreme fanboy. Which one is it? Listen, 300,000 pay-per-view buys for the so-called biggest fight in heavyweight boxing history, some people are calling it. Number 1 versus number 2 in the world, people are calling it. So first of all, as I said, Tyson Fury still has the lineal. So are you guys saying that Tyson Fury is still number 1 in the world? We all know that Deontay Wilder should not have that WBC heavyweight title. We know that. Many experts out there have said it. Deontay Wilder's own friends have said it, like Lennox Lewis, Paulie Malignaggi, and so on and so on and so on. So this was a blatant robbery. Blatant robbery. Andre Ward, all the people that you guys loved, have said Wilder should not be the WBC heavyweight champion. And yet you guys want to say that 300,000 pay-per-view buys makes him a pay-per-view star? Are you sure about that? And deserves 50-50 with Joshua? Are you sure about that? Now, don't get me wrong. Wilder vs. Fury Part 2, the rematch, would probably do a hell of a lot better. A hell of a lot better. But we all know that that Tyson Fury that fought Deontay Wilder is not the best version of Tyson Fury. It really isn't. The rematch, you may well see it. Wilder isn't going to get any better. He just isn't. Tyson Fury is. Drop your thoughts below. Click that thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.